Stop talk. Yeah, we keeping it smooth. Your favorite paralegal got the legal groove. From the stars in the courtroom to your cousin's case, we breaking it all down. No rush, just pace. What's good? It's your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. Hope you guys are having a fabulous Wednesday. So, this is a Chastity Malone update. I did want to come on and give you guys some new information with a few documents that has been filed in her case involving the burglary in Maryland. So, let's hop right on into it. So when I initially came, it was, I think, back in September or October. Can't quite remember, but I do remember that these documents was filed. It was a motion to recall the warrant or quash the warrant and recall the summons. They initially submitted that motion back on October 14th, and it was actually denied. And we're going to go over what that motion said, but it was initially denied the day after. On the 21st, they submitted another motion to quash that warrant and recall the summons, or however you want to interpret that. They're just pretty much saying, and when I say they, her defense counsel is trying to get rid of the warrant and get rid of the summons based off of some internal factors that played out. And once again, we'll get into that. But they resubmitted that on October 21st. And guess what? It was denied again. What does that mean? We are going to see in the second. Yesterday, actually, I take that back. Today, I got an alert that the notice to the state's attorney was filed. So I'll pull up that document in just a second. But as of right now, it does look like Chastity will move forward with trial if they set a trial date in order to discuss what she has been charged with. Yeah, so it's not looking too good for Chastity, but I do believe that they have a plan in works based off of what has been submitted by her defense counsel. So this was the initial document that was filed on the 14th. And remember, it stated that on December 3rd, 2024, a warrant was issued for the burglary in the third degree, burglary in the fourth degree, dwelling, and 2 counts of assault in the second degree. It also stated that she was unaware that a warrant had been issued for her arrest. It talked about her being 30 years old and having 3 children, her obtaining her GED. So, just very basic information. So, they submitted this in hopes that the court would grant for the warrant to be recalled and the issue to be recalled. All right. So remember, this was denied on the 14th. It was filed on the 14th. It was denied on the 15th. Moving forward to the 21st. Now, what happened here? They actually put a little bit more information to, I guess, show the court to give Chastity some type of mercy. And the reason I say this is because what they updated in this document. And also, if I'm laughing, it's not because I'm laughing at her situation. I'm laughing because attorneys will try to pull every move to try to get their client off. And that's what you're supposed to do, especially if you're a paid attorney. You have to do everything in your willpower to either get charges dismissed or get your client the best possible deal there is. But y'all check this out. Check check out. So this is the second motion. I would call this an amended motion, but the previous motion was denied. So this is another motion to recall warrant and issue summons. Y'all pay attention to what this defense attorney stated. That on December 3rd, 2024, a warrant was issued for Ms. Malone in the above captioned case for burglary in the third degree, burglary, fourth degree dwelling, and 2 counts of assault in the second degree. That Ms. Malone was unaware that a warrant had been issued for her arrest until she was traveling to Connecticut and was arrested at the airport. Miss Malone voluntarily waived her right to an extradition hearing. The state of Maryland did not extradite her for that warrant, and she was released. That Miss Malone is 30 years old, has three children, ages 10 months, 5, and 13. Miss Malone is the sole caregiver for her 10-month-old daughter, as the father was tragically unalived. Now, I recall here it stated that she was living with her fiance and 1 year old. Now you took that back out and you stating that now she's the sole caregiver of her 10-month-old daughter because her father was tragically unalived. So the defense attorney is trying to pull on the heartstrings of the court, and as you guys saw, it was again denied. This motion was denied, so it didn't work. But we're going to continue with what it said. um it stated that Miss Malone obtained her GED and is currently looking for work. Okay. Number 5 is very interesting. It states that Miss Malone is currently enrolled in a psychiatric rehabilitation program at Moloch Cares, where she receives therapy, psychiatric support, and case management services. Hmm. Miss Malone realizes the serious nature of this case and has every intention of appearing before the court to address this matter. So all of these factors were placed in hopes that the judge or the court will recall the warrant and issue the summons. But unfortunately, they went ahead and they denied it. On the 21st, let me see who did this. So the defense attorney, Chastity's attorney, submitted a request for them to set a trial date, in which I did not see that a trial date has been set yet. And then here, this was submitted, I believe, by the circuit court. So this is the notice. So this notice is from the court clerk that is going to the state attorney. So this is the state of Maryland. And it says to the state's attorney for Baltimore County. And I'm going to blow it up so you guys can see. It says defendant failed to request a preliminary hearing within 10 days after her initial appearance, thereby waiving right to a preliminary hearing. All right, so if you guys aren't too familiar with what a preliminary hearing is, it is a court proceeding in a criminal case, and that court hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to move forward with the trial. Now, in this particular case, both of those motions to quash that warrant was denied. So this case is going to proceed in the circuit court, and Chastity is going to have to answer to these charges here that you guys see: the burglary to the third degree, burglary to the fourth degree dwelling, and the 2 counts of assault. Mhm. So this case is going to move forward. With that being said, I am going to keep you guys updated when I get new information, because I have this case saved on my docket. So when we get some new information, or I get some new information, I'm going to present this to you guys. But I want to know your thoughts on the defense attorney adding the fact that, one, that she's the sole caregiver of her 10-month-old daughter, because, we all know that her baby daddy was unalived. But the fact that she is enrolled in a psychiatric rehabilitation program. Now, y'all, I don't be on my YouTube, Instagram, so I don't know everything that's going on. Every now and then I'll pop on and I'll see a few things. But what I have seen in the past couple weeks, there is something going on with Chastity mentally. She is not all there. And I'm not saying this to put her down or, make fun of her, because there's a lot of people that is dealing with a lot of mental health issues out there. But the fact that the defense attorney saw fit that, okay, there is something going on. Let me add this to the motion to see if the court will be like, okay, let's give her a little bit of grace. Let's go ahead. But the court said, nah, we're going to go ahead and deny this. We're going to move this forward. So this is very serious. This is not something that at excuse me, that she can just get a slap on the wrist for. Okay. The court already said, hey, she failed to request that preliminary hearing, therefore it's denied. We're moving straight forward with this case. So I hope if Chastity does have this criminal attorney retained versus a court appointed attorney, I don't think that, and there's no way for me to, hold on, let me see. It would say if there was an appointed attorney, court appointed attorney, but I don't think that it is. No, he's actually retained. So I don't know who paid for the attorney, but I hope that whoever is paying for the attorney continues to pay for the attorney, because that is her best chances versus having a court appointed attorney. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on, the fact that she included that she's the sole caregiver and that her baby daddy was tragically unalived, and that she is now in a facility where she's being treated. um yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, you all be blessed, and I'm out. Bye.